Good day everyone, welcome to week 6, example 6. So we're going to create this part today. It's quite an easy part to create. It has some hole features, some edge blend, so there's an edge blend on that edge of radius 1. We have a chamfer of 0.5 millimeters, symmetrical chamfer. There's some synced in holes of 1 millimeter downwards. Yeah, so it's quite an easy part. You can see from the hidden lines which holes go straight through and which doesn't. And then also there's some mirror features or pattern features if you want to use that. So I'm gonna start my sketch on the top view. So there we have two circles of diameter 36. So you'll see that circle has a diameter of 36. So I'm just gonna create two circles with diameter 36. Zoomed in a bit too much there. Um, just move. Okay, so I'm gonna geometrically constrain them horizontally with the sketch origin, not point on curve. Okay, inside and so okay, and then we have a diameter or a dimension of 22.5 millimeters between them. So from that point there up until that point needs to be 22.5. Okay, so now it just needs one constraint because it can still move in the x-axis, and to add that I'm going to add a line between these two curves first, and it's tangent to the curve of the circle. So from there to that point, and then I'm gonna use my trim feature just to trim away those lines. Okay, so now we still need that one dimension, so I'm just gonna vertically constrain that point and the sketch origin. So that's outer circle created. I'm quickly gonna create that inner circles as well because they are extruded straight through. So there's other ways of creating this. You can use your rectangle, create a rectangle, and then just use the fillet feature. But I think this method is the easiest. So those circles have a diameter of 3 millimeters. So I'm going to create them here. There's one there and there as well. So these needs to be vertically in line with the sketch origin or that point there. Once again, important to note where your datum coordinate system is. So from the top view it's in the middle, from the front view it's also at that point, which is 5 millimeters from the bottom. So that's important to note. So that will also uh, that will influence to which side I extrude this sketch of mine. Okay, so then we have that dimensions there is 13 and 13. So rapid dimension from that point there to that point needs to be 13. From there to there needs to be 13. And then first geometrically constrain this one, and then that distance I also know is 13 millimeters. Okay, so now it's supposed to be fully constrained. If it's not fully constrained, you either missed the dimension or you missed a geometric constraint, which we cannot show you on the sketch, but it needs to come from intuition. So there should always be sketches fully constrained, and once again I encourage you to keep it fully constrained as you go on with the sketch. Don't try and to create it, make it fully constrained at the end. So I'm quickly going to mirror these curves. So those three circles, my center line will be the y-axis. Okay, now I can finish that. So now you'll see my sketch is that datum system coordinate. That is in the middle there. So to get it in at the top there, I need to extrude the sketch downwards. So I'm just going to extrude it 5 millimeters to the bottom. Okay. Next, I'm quickly going to create that sunk in holes of 1 millimeter going down. So on that face, I'm going to create the sketch. Diameter of that is 7, if I'm not, 7 millimeters. So there's one, there's one, there's one. So that one is constrained. These two needs to be constrained. Sorry. So that's 13 millimeters. that is 13 millimeters, and then also they need to be vertically in line with the sketch origin. Okay, sketch is fully constrained. Just mirror these. It's easy as that. So use my extrude feature. They are 1 millimeter, and going to the other side using the infer tool to subtract them from that extrude. Okay, the next part we can add is that oval there. So it has a diameter of 15 millimeters. So I'm going to create it the same way as I've created this larger base part. Um, so diameter 15 millimeters. So two circles, sorry, 15 and 15. They also need to be 22.5 millimeters apart. Okay, sketch is fully constrained with one auto dimension, and that's because I'm missing a geometry constraint. So those two needs to be horizontally aligned. Sketch is fully constrained. Add in my lines here. Once again, tangent onto those curves. So from that line to that curve, trim those inner arcs away. Sketch is fully constrained. Okay. So I'm going to extrude that first. It's extruded 10 millimeters upwards. Okay, I'm going to hide that sketch. Now I'm going to use the offset curve. So without creating a new sketch, I'm just going to create that offset curve to create that inner arc or oval. And that needs to be 2.5 millimeters from the outer one, because that is the diameter of that arc is 10, and to get to a diameter of 15 you need to add 2.5 to each radius. So 2.5 millimeters is that offset. So just select these curves, 2.5 millimeters, click OK, and there you've created that curve. So that one is extruded 5 millimeters downwards. So use my extrude tool to the other side 5 millimeters, and it automatically subtract it. Okay, now second last features to add is those holes. They have a diameter of 5 millimeters. They go straight through. So I'm going to create a sketch, not there, on that face. We have a circle diameter 5, this side as well. Important, they are horizontally aligned, and then once again they are apart 22.5 millimeters. Okay, finish that sketch. Extrude it straight through. Yeah, so that's the circles added, and then the last feature is this feature here. So I'm going to create a sketch on this face of the extrude. Using my arc, so that diameter is, or radius is 3, meaning that radius needs to be 4. So I'm going to use the arc by center point. My center point will be the center of this line, which is there. So it captures it onto that point. Radius is 4. And then to be able to extrude it, you need to close that loop. So my sketch is fully constrained. Once again, the inner arc I can either create with the arc or by offset curve, so I'm just going to use the offset curve. It goes inwards 1 millimeter, and then there's a line from there to there somewhere. A geometric constraint for that line is that it needs to be horizontal, and then you'll see that the dimension is 5.7 millimeters. Not the face, but that dimension is 5.7 millimeters. So then I can just trim these lines here. Make sure my sketch is fully constrained, which it is. Finish the sketch. and then you'll also see that it's extruded 10 millimeters outwards. It doesn't go through that wall there, so it just stops there. So I can just use my extrude feature, extrude it 10 millimeters, and click OK. Important, you need to make sure now that the entire model is united, so you can just click on the unite tool. If the entire thing is highlighted, then it is united. Once again, we're going to ask you for the surface area, the center of mass, the mass, and the radius of gyration. So the material for this is aluminium 6061. So I'm just going to say file, not file, sorry, menu, tools, materials, assign materials. I want to assign it to this body. So I'm click on the body, aluminium 6061. Click OK. To make sure that it's assigned, you can just once again go to Tools, Materials, Manage Materials. Make sure that there's a checkbox right to the right of that material. Then to measure that, you just go to Analysis, click on Measure, right click on this body, say Select from List, click on the solid body of the extrude, and it displays all of the details to you. We want the surface area, the center of mass, the mass, and the radius of gyration. So you'll need to enter that into Ifundi, and once you've done that, you have completed your homework. So I hope this example helps you a bit in your homework and for preparation for future tests. Thank you for watching.